starting July 1st, playing in the ACC for women's soccer is the best thing that could happen for our program.
The move to the ACC for Notre Dame soccer is fantastic.
It's clearly the top women's soccer conference in the country. I think 14 of the teams last year were in the top 25 or so in the RPI. So it's the best thing that could happen for Notre Dame women's soccer.
The first thing for us was trying to work out the class miss policy. Remember, this is Notre Dame, and they're very strict about how many classes we can miss. So for us this year, that was my major sort of task.
It only is going to help your program. There's no off weekends. We're playing a top 10 team or a top 15 every week of the year now, which was not the case in years past. So we have to be on our A game week in and week out. I think this one's going to keep our players sharp and focused throughout the year because we'll have to be.
But the ACC is I think, year in, year out in soccer has been the best conference in the country. So we know that's a challenge, and I think the players are very excited.
I've always said this. I think our rivalry with North Carolina is the top women's soccer rivalry in the country, and I'm so happy to be able to play them every year. You know, Anson continues to set a high standard for the rest of the coaches around the country with the success of that Carolina program, and to get a chance to play them year in and year out, I think is going to be good for us on so many fronts, not only for the development of our players that are here, but for women's soccer in the U.S. in general.
I don't think we'll play in a bad facility, which is fun, and hopefully some of the weather when we go a little bit further south will be a little bit maybe warmer than maybe going to some of the Big East venues.
Robbie Church is a really good friend of mine. We've worked together in a few things over the years. I've utilized quite a few of his players with my under-23 women's national team, and Robbie and I go way back. And then I think certainly with Steve Swanson at Virginia, you know, he's our U20 women's national team, or the former coach that just won the last World Cup, and which included obviously Mandy Laddish and Carrie Riccaro, and Steve stays heavily involved. He's got a great connection with Bobby Clark, our men's coach as well. They're good personal friends. So Steve is very special to our program in a lot of ways, and is a very good friend on the coaching front for me as well.
I think there's a lot of great things for our program, for men's soccer in particular. You know, I think here, you know, from a recruiting point of view, even you have our big recruiting base is the Midwest, and now here's a chance for good players in the Midwest to get a chance to play in the ACC. I think that must be a huge attraction.
I think on the recruiting front, it's also a big plus. Players want to play in the ACC, so I think that's just one last piece of the puzzle that's going to keep Notre Dame up into the upper echelon of women's soccer.